everybody, to a brand new episode of All Gas, No Trash.
A fucking gauntlet's gonna be got. It's good, man. I'm the big bad booty daddy. A gauntlet's gonna be thrown down.
Oh, indeed it is. And we may be thrown in jail after the end of this.
Possibly at the hands of RSS or Spotify. We don't know.
One of the two. But anyways, after this whole incident with Spotify and RSS, I'm really starting to become even more sympathetic to Luigi Mangione. All right, I just want to throw that out there.
I'm sure that'll go over well with a lot of people, both ironically and literally.
Well, it is what it is, I suppose. And if you want to say what your thoughts are on that statement I just made, you can go to Game Rage Magazine on YouTube, Instagram. If you still got TikTok, go on over. If not, you can go to Twitter at Game Rage Mag.
It's the TikTokalypse.
That's a good one. You can follow Adam at All Gas No Trash Official on Instagram and YouTube. You can also follow along at substack.com/at All Gas No Trash Official.
Yeah, I just got to say, shout outs to all the people that, I don't even know if anybody from the YouTube video that we made, the episode about the article itself, this thing's fucking doing numbers and I'm very happy. So if you contributed to that, I can't suck your dick off, but I could give you a firm handshake. So there's plenty of that to go.
Why can't you suck their dick off?
I just can't.
Like, why? Is there a physical limitation?
Look, man, I don't need to explain myself.
No, I think you do. I think that people fucking deserve an answer as to why you couldn't suck their dick off.
Nah. There will be firm handshakes given all around, and that's all there is to it.
Listen, if they're here in person, the least you could do is suck their dicks off. A firm handshake is a slap in the face.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at least. If I was a fan of this show, I would be pissed. And I'd be fucking furious. I would unsubscribe and block a report or whatever it is.
Yeah. All right, so this is a Josh-centric episode, as he has strong opinions about his experience with RSS, and for whatever reason, Spotify now has interjected itself into this problem, or they are the root of the problem, and RSS is the middleman, what is the phrase? Don't shoot the mess. They're basically the messenger.
Oh, they're the messenger and also the fucking enforcer. Okay. Okay.
That's the irony of that part, is that they're playing victim to Spotify. They're like,
yeah.
Well, our hands are tied behind our back. We can't do anything about it.
But also, go fuck yourself, Josh. So I am now speaking as Millennial Frog.
Speaking to you,
the artist. Okay. So I got an email from Spotify, or not Spotify. I'm sorry. It's from RSS.com. And I was reading the kind. I'm like, why does this look like why does it say forward? Like, what the fuck is this? So I noticed that that they forwarded me an email from Spotify that they got. And Spotify said that they are taking down one song from the Millennial Frog album, Comfy Tunes for the End Times. And it's the song track titled This Is the Way, that they're removing it. And it's because that they apparently it's a violation of the terms and conditions for Spotify that you cannot post anything on there unless you are affiliated with a music distribution service. Like, you can't post any music on there.
On RSS.
No, on Spotify. Spotify will not allow you to post music unless it's affiliated with a music publisher. You can post podcasts, and you don't have to be affiliated, but if you're going to post music, it has to be through an official, recognized music distribution platform.
That is fucking whack, because for starters, there's a platform like SoundCloud where you don't have to have it go anywhere else. It just goes on SoundCloud and you can have it up there and everything.
Yeah.
They don't give you guff about fucking...
No.
They don't give you guff about being on a fucking major distributor.
Yeah. Also, you can go put it on YouTube. Like, there's options, right? Sure. Spotify is where motherfuckers go to listen to music. So that sucks dicks. But anyway, so I get that email and they forwarded it, and And then RSS attaches, because just so people understand full transparency, what I did is because we pay our $19.99 a month to host unlimited podcast. All right, that's how we operate. We paid $20 a month. RSS lets us do as many fucking podcasts as we want. It works out great. That's part of the reason why we have 25 fucking different podcasts. What's the matter?
I don't know. I scratched my leg and I don't know what the fuck it came from.
Oh,
whatever.
Anyways, so that's part of the reason why we enjoy that. So what I did when I put out all my Millennial Frog albums, I did them also on RSS as a podcast, and I put each individual track as an episode. And then what I ended up doing, which this worked its way over into the actual release of the album, was I put a track at the end that was just all the songs put together into a singular track. And I called the track "This Is the Way." And so there's in every single Millennium Frog album, there is always one track at the end of every album called "This Is the Way," and then a Roman numeral. And the Roman numeral is the numbered album of what the album is. So like the Comfy Tunes for the End Times was number 1. So that got "This Is the Way." Based in Space Pilled was the second album. That got "This Is the Way 2." So on and so forth down the line. Okay. So they send me this email saying that they're not allowing because it's under a quote unquote podcast or whatever, but it's not a music distribution. Like, you have to be affiliated if you're doing music. So I'm like, okay. So that means they listened to this episode, or someone did, or someone had to say something, right? So then RSS forwards me this email and says, because Spotify says they're removing this episode. I'm like, okay, whatever. All my shit's on Spotify anyways through the music distribution service I use, CD Baby, which pisses me off anyways, but regardless, my point being. So then RSS decides to forward me this email, let me know that the episode's been taken down. And then they also advise me that they will also be taking down the episode. And I'm like, wait a minute. What do you mean? And so I kind of had like an email deal, and then I just ended up calling them. I ended up calling them on the phone because I'm like, I can't do this. Like, you guys it takes 8 years to get an email back. Like, I can't do this. We just talk to some asshole on the phone. I talked to him, and I'm like, okay, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that I violated Spotify's terms and conditions by posting this to the thing, right? To Spotify. Okay. I did not agree to Spotify's terms and conditions because you, RSS, have a little thing where you can auto-populate to like 5 different services, and one of them is Spotify. And I didn't sign up for terms and conditions on Spotify to do that, but whatever. Okay, if Spotify wants to say that, okay, whatever. But where in the RSS terms and conditions does it say that I can't put out music on RSS? Like, where does it say that? And they're like, oh, well, you just can't do it. And I'm like, but why not? And they're like, oh, well, because it's a violation of Spotify's terms and conditions. And I'm like, yeah. But why are you taking the episode down? Oh, because you can't do that. Yeah, but why can't I do that? Well, because it's a violation of Spotify's terms and conditions. So Spotify removed it. Therefore, we're going to remove it. Yeah, but where in your terms and conditions did I violate? Can you show me? Because I read the terms and conditions, and I didn't find anything in there that said that I'm not allowed to post music or whatever. And they're like, well, Spotify basically Spotify said so we're doing it. And I'm like, okay, well, what is the reason? This is like around and around going back to that hate speech thing that I was dealing with them. And them saying that my songs were hate speech. And I'm like, well, why is it hate speech? There's no lyrics. How is a song that's instrumental hate speech? And they're like, it's because it is. And then I'm like, well, but it's not. Go listen to it and tell me where. Can you point out specific things in the song that what you're saying is the reason why it's hate speech? Like, is there a word? Is there a phrase? What's in there? And then they go back and they're like, oh, okay, I guess you're right. And then they let the album go through. And so I'm just like, well, after that, then they said, well, they're 30-second songs, so we don't allow ringtones. And I'm like, it's not a ringtone. It's a song. The name of the album is 30-Second Master. Like, and each song's 30 seconds long. Like, that's the whole point of the album.
And there are albums on Spotify. I mean, I don't know the artist, but there have been fucking albums that are songs of just being 1 minute or less.
Yeah.
Like, that's nothing new. I mean, if they're griping about it being 30 seconds, I mean, what the fuck? Like, it feels like they're splitting hairs.
Yeah, they are. And so anyways, so I went round and round with them about the whole fucking Spotify terms and conditions and why are they removing the episode and got nowhere. So at the end of it, I didn't want to bring this up to them because I'm like, all right, I don't want them to take down everything because then that's what they'll do. But like, I literally have a pretty good case here to say that they're not enforcing, even if they're going to claim it's a terms and conditions deal, they're not enforcing it fairly and evenly because they're not fairly and evenly enforcing it on my own shit. Because all they did was take down, there's 18 fucking songs on that album, and they just took down one, saying that it was a song and it's not allowed to be there. Well, what about the other 17 songs? Not to mention the other fucking 5 albums or 6 albums that I've made that are all songs too. You guys didn't say shit about those and haven't. This is the first time you've said anything. So my thought process is someone had to have said something to Spotify. Someone had to have brought this to their attention because there's no fucking way that Spotify was just doing some like random check and it got caught up. Because if that were the case, I have a feeling they would have listened to all the other Millennial Frog shit and then been like, hey, wait a minute. You can't do this. He's doing this for all this shit. I think someone had a specific issue with the one fucking thing and must have said something. Now, I don't think it's anyone we know or any kind of an enemy or whatever. I think it's just maybe some asshole in like fucking Russia or who the fuck knows. But I don't know. I don't understand why they're doing this. And it brings me to the point of my point being for this whole conversation is that it's very difficult for someone who's an independent artist to get. It's already difficult enough for us to put shit out on like YouTube and be lost in the algorithm, or to put it on fucking SoundCloud and just be buried under fucking tons, millions of other shit. At least on Spotify or like, you know, fucking whatever, Pandora, at least like you can get thrown into a playlist. You can get fucking possibilities for play. You get a little more exposure on there, right? And they won't let you put shit on there unless you're affiliated. And most of these places won't let you put shit on there unless you're affiliated with a music distribution service, i.e. putting in just another barrier to entry for anyone that wants to showcase their talent in being an artist. Really, your only options are SoundCloud and YouTube for the most part. Obviously, you can go on social media, but like people don't listen to music on social media like that. Like you can promote your shit there, but people aren't like, oh yeah, I'm going to follow you so I can listen to all your songs on fucking Instagram.
There's also Bandcamp, and you can do it off the website or you can do it off the app. And I don't remember exactly how it works, but some artists are able to just have all their tracks available for like an album, right?
Yeah.
And there's some cases where they don't, even though the album is released, like you could get 3 songs, but in order to hear the whole thing, you have to purchase it, right? So it's like enticing people to actually purchase music, but people don't want fucking MP3s. And that's kind of the problem too, is like, it's as much as people condemn Spotify, and you definitely have a case for why they suck, but I would go on the other side and say, dude, if it were for Spotify, I don't know if I would be checking out as much music as I would, because it's just the convenience of having so much music in one spot that it's a convenience factor. Because if I was doing this on Bandcamp and I was listening to songs that I want to hear, it just becomes too cumbersome. And maybe YouTube is a worthy second to Spotify, because you could just make playlists of songs that you enjoy. Yeah, but then you get all the fucking ads. Like that's
right.
And that's and I don't want to pay for YouTube Music or YouTube Premium.
Right.
But,
and the SoundCloud app sucks dicks. So people my point being, people sitting in their car listening to music aren't going to use Bandcamp. They're not going to use they're going to use Spotify. They're going to use Pandora. They're going to use I don't even think they're going to use YouTube, to be really honest with you.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
I think they're primarily going to use Spotify is like their number one go-to. And that's where people listen to the most fucking music. And if you've barriered to entry anyone from coming on there unless they're associated with some sort of music publisher, like what's also mind-boggling is all the Millennial Frog shit's on Spotify from CD Baby, which is which I had to pay money to get that on there. So like, but that's my point being, the barrier to entry is like they want you got to be paying money to somebody in order for them to be like, okay, cool, we'll put it on here. And like, why? I have no fucking idea why that is. Like, why the fuck would you do that?
It's just somebody has to fucking make money. It's like somebody decided that was the thing that had to be done for music to be distributed everywhere.
Yeah, they just all get together and go, hey, you know what?
Okay,
we're just gonna tell everybody they gotta pay somebody to distribute it, and that's the only way that will fucking have their shit on here. And that's terrible. That's stupid as hell.
It is.
And again, it's just blocking artists from getting their shit out there. Because again, the most convenient app for an independent artist to be on, or the most the most likelihood of exposure, would likely be on Spotify, because unfortunately people spend a lot of fucking times in their car, and they spend a lot of time at work with a headphone in, and they're listening to something on an app, and it's generally going to be Spotify, because you don't need to have your phone on, your screen on, like you do with YouTube, unless you're paying for premium, but that's fucking $20 a month, so who the fuck's doing that? But Spotify, you can have that shit, you can have your phone screen off, and like you can listen to it, one headphone in, doing your work or whatever bullshit you're doing, you're on a playlist or whatever, that's how people are listening to shit. And the likelihood for an independent artist to get found on Spotify, if you can't pay the money to go put it up with like a publisher or whoever, you're just not gonna. Granted, it's not a shit ton of money nowadays, or a distributor. I mean, if you're not gonna go with one of them, and that's the inherent problem is CD Baby. Once you get a publisher or a distributor involved, well, now you're not really in control of it anymore. Because I've had issues on Instagram with Millennial Frog songs by them telling me that I don't own the rights to it, because CD Baby shows as the rights holder, even though they're not, because they distributed it. So all the platforms, even like YouTube says on our videos that have like Millennial Frog songs, if it detects it, it puts the copyright thing on it, so we can't monetize it, because they don't recognize us as the copyright holder, even though we are the copyright holder. That's part of the agreement that you sign with CD Baby, is that you retain all of the copyrights. You retain all the rights. They're just distributing it. But all these other platforms don't recognize that. They recognize CD Baby as the publisher, therefore, or the distributor, therefore they're the rights holder. So I've been fighting with YouTube for fucking, I finally just gave up, because it's like, I don't, whatever, I'm not monetizing this shit anyways, so it doesn't even matter. But if I was an independent artist, this would need to be something that I would need to, and then again, what sucks too is you can pay CD Baby more money for them to go in and clear it up. But then I got to pay them another like $8 a song for them to go to YouTube and Spotify and TikTok and Instagram and tell them, oh, this is the account, this is the people that actually own this. So it's all just a racket. It's all just a fucking scam. And it's all horseshit. And it's, again, more barrier to entry for independent artists to get their shit out there. And I think that in the grand scheme, there's a lot of people out there that have probably over the last, let's just say 20 years, that have legitimate real talent in music and have probably been fucking assed out because of some bullshit that's happened with like this stuff, where they can't get their shit out there because it's like, it's just so hard, because they won't, like, it's just the barrier to entry is so hard. And then having to fight the red tape to just even prove that you own the rights to this thing to get it on YouTube so you can monetize it. Like, that's fucking ridiculous.
That's probably why you would want a record label, so that you don't have to do that.
That's part of what you're paying them for, is
all that dumb shit. And also, there's another thing. So I think like pretty much every distributor more or less covers all their bases with YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and all that shit. But there's one, and it's specifically for social media. I think it's called like Mixer or something like that. Mm-hmm. You have to pay extra. So in some cases, you have to pay fucking extra for that shit.
Yeah.
That shit's whack. That's one other thing you have to fucking distribute to, and they're making you pay more just to have it on social media and have more or less the same things taken care of for all the royalties or things that are supposed to be paid out to you for your music being played on TikTok or Instagram Reels, or on Instagram Reels, just Instagram in general. That's an extra service that you have to fucking pay for. And that shit sucks.
Yeah. And then on top of that, what's even more fucked up is like on Instagram, I was fighting with them for a while because someone else claimed the copyright on a Millennial Frog song. And I got a video taken down, and they said it was because of a copyright violation. And I'm like, well, fuck, I used my Millennial Frog song in this, so what the fuck are they talking about? So I contested it, and they told me no. And so there was an email you could send to, so I emailed and said, hey, I'm Millennial Frog. I own, like you go into the copyright on the thing, and it says copyright Game Rage Magazine. And, you know, I'm listed as the author or whatever, but like, I was like, okay, so I'm on the Game Rage magazine fucking account. Like, what? How are you telling me I don't own this? And they're like, so I clicked on the song, and some fucking Spanish sports station in South America claimed copyright on it, and they had been using it in a bunch of stuff. And so I was like, no, this is not their shit. So I had to fucking go and take screenshots of the CD Baby account and show like, this is me. This is the song here. I have it listed here. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, these guys. And so it took like, I don't know, 2 months, and they finally removed the copyright on that. And they still didn't give me the copyright on the Game Rage magazine account, but they just did it so it didn't show up as this person anymore, having the copyright to it. And I'm like, how is it so easy for someone to claim copyright on something they don't own, but yet me, the copyright holder, it's because I'm not affiliated with the distributor or like a fucking major label or whatever. Now I got to go through all this shit to fight them to get the copyright of my own shit that someone else fucking claimed. And so it's like, what the fuck? So this whole situation is fucked. And this is just another example of the industry trying to ask people out, in my opinion. And just being like, oh, if you're not going to fucking be in the system, you're not going to be here doing anything. You're not going to get no play. You ain't going to get nothing. Unless you get in within the system. And yes, there are anomalies where people can fucking get through. But eventually they all fucking sign and make the deal with the devil, for the most part. And it is what it is, I guess.
Fuck, I don't remember what the actual thing is called to distribute to social media. I was trying to look that up. Couldn't find it, but I know there's an extra step that you have to go through to distribute just to social media, but I'm not really in the mood to fucking look that up.
Yeah,
so
who gives a fuck? But anyways, fuck those guys. We ain't gonna give them no play. Fuck them. We ain't gonna talk about them. Anyway, so that was pretty much my rant. And I don't know there is no solution to this shit because it's never gonna get better. It's just gonna be constantly worse.
Yeah.
So if you're an independent artist, if you love making fucking music, don't let this shit stop you. Again, there's other alternatives. You can use YouTube. You can use fucking,
unless you start encouraging people to, if it encourages people to go back to fucking vinyl and cassette tapes where they're making mixtapes, they get their favorite songs from their vinyl and then convert it to a mixtape so they can listen to their customized playlist or whatever.
Oh yeah.
If people go back that way and just avoid
cassette
Spotify and Apple Music and all that shit, so they don't get their cut.
Yeah, dog. We're going back to analog.
Going back to fucking analog.
We're gonna
imagine
burn,
that, dude.
We're gonna burn CDs.
Yeah,
off of fucking LimeWire.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I don't know.
Dude, we should make Game Rage Wire. We should fucking make our own fucking pirating service or torrent sharing service.
Yeah.
And then fucking just go back to the olden days.
Dude, I mean, it's already a struggle for artists to just pay for the music. The entire process of making music is a whole fee in itself or a whole cost in itself. And then on top of this, to be able to put it online and then be told, oh, you can't do it unless you go through a distributor. That is just and then every month, I mean, it's picking your fucking poison. It's like, all right, do you want to pay $13 to have your album distributed, or do you want to pay an annual fee, $100 a year that you're gonna pay in perpetuity for fucking your entire life just to have it up? Like, that shit sucks.
That does suck, man. That's AIDS. That's literal AIDS.
If there's anything that people don't want is more subscriptions to a service. Like, it'd be better if you just pay a one-time fee.
Yeah, and that's it.
Maybe it's $10,000, but you can put up.
Oh, fuck that. That's not better. We can't afford that.
I know. I'm just saying, but if maybe it's cheaper than that. Maybe it's a fucking $1,000 for a lifetime.
Yeah, of it being
one-time purchase for just putting up as much music as you want.
Yeah, better. I could see that. Anyways, all right. Well, that's all I had. Do you have anything else?
No, that's good enough.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. Go to Game Rage Magazine on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok while you can. Game Rage Mag on Twitter. Follow Adam in this podcast at All Gas No Trash Official on Instagram and YouTube, and you can follow him on Substack.com/@ All Gas No Trash Official, where you can get some of the most scrumptiously autistic music recipes you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll go over well with a lot of people.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, first of all, I didn't say anything inaccurate, okay? But all of those words were accurate to describe the things that you do. And second of all, if anyone's offended by that, then you are either scrumptious or autistic. So, I mean, pick
or
one.
scrumptiously autistic.
You can be scrumptiously autistic, too. Anyways.
Or artistically scrumptious.
That's a good one, actually. Game Rage Magazine, autistically scrumptious. That's the new tagline. I'm going to make some fucking shirts.
That's fucking great.
Hell yeah. Anyways, all right. Well, Easter egg, if you fucking stayed this long and listened to the fucking plugs, then you got a nice little laugh out of it, I'm sure.
Fuck yeah. And then I guess you'll see us on Monday with the new episode as well.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good. All right. We'll holler at you guys later. Man, fuck those guys.